What is up, guys? Adrian here from Losh TV. Today we are back at Universal Studios for an Unmasking the Horror Tour. Now, for Unmasking the Horror Tours, you're not allowed to record, so you will be seeing a lot of pictures and just a lot of us in between explaining to you some of the things. So let's get in there and have some fun. Now, for the Unmasking the Horror Tours, you need to come over to Blue Man Group, former Blue Man Group area, and check in. But yes, you take this walk right next to Rocket, so you get a nice view of a Rocket for a bit. We're here with Zombie Chris and Eddie from Eddytainment. Pretty cool to have everyone here. So yeah, we just go through these gates and go all the way back to Soundstage 18, which is the former Blue Man Group. Alright guys, so here's the food options we have. We go to Monsters Cafe halfway through this, and yeah, it's pretty much just the menu. Another thing that's pretty cool is they gave us a button. Please focus on it. There we go. Jack up your HHN IQ. Now let's turn it around. No joke. You've learned so much about this year's event. You might qualify for an HHN PhD after 15 years of this tour. That's saying something. In addition to the button, they also gave us a lanyard that has all of the classic monsters and says behind the screams. So cool. Alright guys, we just left the vac and we are going into our first house. Like I said, I'm not able to record. Not sure where we're going, but we're walking and I'll let you guys know and I'll tell you with a voiceover the pictures. So the very first house we walk into is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I gotta say, being able to see these houses with the lights on is completely different. There's a lot of little details that you miss when you walk through these houses. Like earlier I showed you these gas tanks. Those gas tanks were actually from the Jaws ride. Pretty cool, right? And it's like a bunch of little things you can't see. Now you can't go that far into the house with pictures because there's certain things that are allowed and certain things that aren't. But you guys will see a lot more in the coming houses. But for now, this is probably all I can show for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Hope you liked it. Alright guys, we just got out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and now it looks like we're walking into HHN Icons Captured. So get ready for some pictures. So before we walked into HHN Icons Captured, our tour guide David was actually nice enough to take us over to see the facade for Revenge of the Tooth Fairy. Now I was able to go through this house multiple times during HHN Light, but actually being able to see this facade up close was pretty cool. And we all can't stand James. Thanks, James. You really did a great job. And just like that, it's time to move over to HHN Icons Captured. And this facade, oh my god. Well, the first time I saw it, I literally just stopped everything I was doing and was awed with amazement. And honestly, it was so cool to be able to see all these totems, like Lady Luck, the director, Chance, Jack, the caretaker, the usher, the storyteller. It was so cool to be able to see all of these individual icons being on display. And I gotta say, it was even cooler to see them all in the house. But being able to see all the details in this house, and no, I'm not talking about Zombie Chris in the house, and no, I'm not talking about Eddytainment in the house, but all the detail in this house is amazing. For example, this right here is the caretaker's watch, and he is the first scare on your right. Another thing I really loved about this house, straight off the rip, was all these shirts that you could see on the actual like bodies that were there. Some of them are actual event shirts, some of them are shirts that were made off of things that were featured in scare zones. This right here is Fear's Blue Hole. Found that pretty awesome. Now we walked into Lady Luck's room, which we saw all this stuff for HHN 21. First time I ever got to experience Lady Luck, which I found pretty awesome. It's pretty cool to see her. Never experienced it before. I loved it. Pretty cool. Next we saw this giant pendulum here with the Lady Luck shirt on it, and I found it pretty awesome. I love the way that this body's just thrown there. Next we have the transition into the director's room, which going to the house, this is pretty cool. It was like a roulette machine. Now we enter the director's room. This had a pretty cool effect. On the floor itself, when you walk through, they brought back an effect they haven't used in years, and it was a shocking floor. And I didn't recognize this until we went through the tour and went through the house at night. After going through the house at night, I felt the effect. I'm like, oh, that's really different. So we go from one movie loving icon to another. We are now at the usher. Do not disrespect this man. He is a living, breathing saint. So we go from the movie theater itself into the concession stand, which has a pretty cool transition. You start hearing the song, the Let's All Go to the Lobby song. And then you start seeing posters from Slaughter Cinema, which is pretty cool. It's paying reference to the past, but also pretty awesome because it's in a movie theater. Directly after these posters, you see the actual concession stand itself, which on the table, on the countertop, has a tape recorder, which is actually a media gift that was given out to media outlets back when this event was announced, which is pretty cool to see that again. You don't see that often. Now we leave the movie theater and we go into the mortuary and see the caretaker. Now this is pretty cool. Got a little casket here. And then you have the dead bodies, which they're just piled up. It's terrifying, but just know it's really cool to see this with all the effects on. After leaving the caretaker, we go straight into the storyteller, and it's pretty awesome. They have the prop bed from the commercial, which scared me. I had to get my friend to take a picture with it, but really cool. There's something hidden in here that's new to fans of all kinds. Now this is a super blink and you miss it moment, but there's a bunch of different case files off to the left right before you go into Jack's room, and it's pretty awesome. You have Eddie's chainsaw, Jack's Jack in the Box, the little sax from, you know, the live stage show, and even a little shout out to Mary Agana, which may or may not be featured in this house. Not physically, but she's there. Maybe. And now, without any bias at all, we walk into what was my favorite room, which was the Jack room. Now, this room, when I walked into it, I was just blown away. I love seeing all the little sacks with Jack's face on it, the chances in here, everything is just so cool. And the creepiest thing about all this was those little puppets. There was a Jack and Chance puppet at the end, which was just weird, really weird. But yeah. So here's this final overview of the entire room, which I found gorgeous. Now we walk into the throne room. And when you go to the throne room, look up. You're going to see a nice little ginger. No, it's not Johnny Bronto. It's Jack the Clown. Then you see the actual throne itself, which is actually from a past Horror Nights house called Hades. Pretty cool. I love this house. It's awesome. You need to experience this house. It's a must. Alright guys, so now we are inside of Monsters Cafe. We're going to get our food. It is time for our break. We are all hungry. There's April. We're hungry. We need our food. So yeah. So far we've done the Icons and we've done Texas. Pretty cool. And we got to see the front of a Tooth Fairy. So far so good. Alright guys, here's our food. I got a flatbread. Chris got a vampire. I'm not going to record April. She had food hanging from her mouth. And Eddie got some spare ribs. Yeah. We're excited. We're going to dig in and have some fun. Alright guys, we're going to walk through sCarey now. Enjoy the pictures. Let's go through some history. So first things first, we walk straight into sCarey. The facade is gorgeous. It's everything we wanted. And right away with the Easter eggs. Here we have Pump House number 30, representing the 30th anniversary. Another sign to the point of 30, and now we have creatures from The Spawning. Now these guys don't look exactly the same, but they are the same. Some people look exactly the same, are these monsters from the Hive, Wolf Amps. Then we move forward to the Wyandotte Estate, which is something I really wish I could have seen with my own eyes, so I was very happy to see it in this house. It's cool that they brought the legendary truth back and everything like that, but now we keep moving forward and we go to Dead End, which is another house that I heard was phenomenal. It was the year before I started going. The scares in here were just really cool. They had these ghost effects. It was your typical ghost house. Now we walk from ghost house to schoolhouse. This is where I experienced some scare from Cindy, which, if you guys don't know, Cindy is a canceled icon that should have been at Horror Nights in the mainstay in 2002, but due to things along the time, didn't happen. Next, we go to HR Blood and Guts, which I thought had the coolest looking room and scenery. So many Easter eggs in this room. I mean, so many. Like, it blew my mind how many Easter eggs were here. For example, that gingerbread man is from Krampus. I'm not 100% sure, but that snow globe looked like it is also from Krampus. The cotton candy, Killer Clowns. There's a Bride of Frankenstein, VHS tape. Look over there, polka dots. That's Jack's costume. Yep, there it is. Next, we have a Silent Hill bunny, And finally, we move over to Meets. Now, if I'm being 100% honest, this is what I was looking forward to the most for sCarey. I never got to experience Meets, and it was really awesome to finally do it. Sadly, I wasn't able to take that many pictures due to the gruesomeness of the second half of this house. But check it out for yourself. It's awesome. Trust me. Guys, so David actually brought us into the Horror Nightmare Field stage, and Eddie's sitting on the steps.
Eddie's actually in the show now.
Eddie's part of the show. Eddie is the Eddytainment of today.
I'm gonna do a backflip.
But yeah, Chris is vlogging, so no. It's cool. I'm gonna have to check this show out. It's pretty cool. Alright guys, we're about to go into Wicked Growth, so be ready for some pictures up in here. Now, this is straight from Slaughter Cinema. As soon as we walk into Wicked Growth, it's a reference to pumpkin guts. Another reference is the 3 X's right here represent the 30th anniversary. Also, can't have a pumpkin house without thinking of the Pumpkin Lord. Now, there's pumpkins all over this house. It's so cool to see. Honestly, if you haven't experienced this house yet, definitely put this on your list of houses you need to go through. Also, here's a reference to Meets. Pretty cool, pretty funny. I enjoyed it. This is a nice little scare in the house. It's like a distant scare actor. Really nice to see. Now here's some Easter eggs. This was in Twisted Tradition. Here's the actual book that the witch reads from. Here are some critters from Midnight Snack 2. This is the witch's pot. And the cult of the Beast Baby. Alright guys, we're about to go into Puppet Theater Captive Audience, and we're going to look at the facade before we go in, so enjoy the pictures. Here I am standing in front of the facade. This is actually taken by someone in our group, Kira. Now let's walk in. This is actually right before you walk into the actual sprung tent itself. Really cool. Here is the first wide open scene that you see. I love this because this room is massive, and for being in a sprung tent, that blows my mind because you walk in this and it's not a sprung tent. This was cool. It's showing you that you can see the red curtain throughout the entire house. There's another room that has that same thing featured. It's pretty awesome to see this. Here's some ballerinas. And here's Billy the Puppet, who has been featured in houses ever since Dead Silence. Alright, we're getting ready to go into the Haunting of Hill House. But here is a look at some scenery for Lights, Camera, Action. Okay, we're getting ready to go in. Let's go. Alright guys, we're about to go into the Haunting of Hill House. And let's just say this was the best house I went through last night. I got the best scares out of this. And I'm excited to be able to check this out one more time. Well, with the lights on. Now, as soon as we walked in, I was so excited to take a ton of pictures in here. Sadly, Netflix was like, nah bro, nice try. Anyways, this is the biggest facade they've ever built for this specific parade building, and I gotta say, it blew my mind. It's fantastic. Look at my friends here in front of the facade. Look at that red door. That's the most you're gonna get of this house. You gotta go experience it for yourself. We just finished at Hill House. We weren't allowed to take pictures in the house due to contract things, but our nice tour guide David allowed us to take a look at the Beetlejuice facade from over here. Honestly, just got to give a huge shout out to David. He was a fantastic tour guide. If you guys get an RIP tour, go ahead and request David. He did a great job. And everyone in our group is just great. It's a great time here. So that was it. That was our Unmasking the Horror Tour. We had a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Sorry that we couldn't take any pictures inside of Hill House. But honestly, it was phenomenal. If you guys liked it, please give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below what was your favorite thing to see. Subscribe if you guys already haven't done so. Say excellent of my dudes.
Stay spooky.